Hello everybody and welcome to another installment in the mPulse training video series. Today we're going to be looking at custom metrics. I'm Gareth Lynn, part of the performance engineering team here at SOSTA, and I'll be taking you through this today. So what are custom metrics? Custom metrics are user-defined values that refer to business goals or to key performance indicators, such as revenue, conversion, orders per minute, order value. Custom metrics are defined within mPulse in the Configure app, and specifically in there within the Custom Metrics tab. When we're in the Custom Metrics tab, then we have a number of options on how we set these up. So we can use a URL pattern, we can use a URL pattern with XPath to extend it a little bit further, and we can use JavaScript variables. Okay, so let's go ahead and log in to mPulse. So I'll enter my credentials. And then once we're in the mPulse interface, then I'm going to switch back to the Central tab. And then from here, I'm going to click on Apps on the left-hand side. And then I'm going to select my app, which in this case is sosta.com. We open up sosta.com and we're presented with the Configure app dialog. Next, I'm going to click on Custom Metrics. And this is where we're going to define and create our new custom metrics. So I click on the green plus and we will give it a name first of all. So let's just call it conversion rate. And then we've got two options. We can either create it with a JavaScript variable or a URL pattern. In this case, we're going to use a URL pattern. And what we're actually going to measure is from the SOSTA site. And if we look on the SOSTA site and we go to products, and I can click on cloud test, and then we have this try cloud test for free. So we want to measure how many of the users are coming onto the site and are going all the way through and converting to this particular page. So I'm going to copy my URL, and then back in mPulse, I'm simply going to enter the URL pattern into here. Now in this case, we're using a defined URL, but you can use wildcards in here as well. So if you wanted to capture anything after that, then it's just a very simple asterisk, which gives us the wildcard notation. You'll notice there is an optional XPath in here, and we'll add an XPath into our URL pattern at a later stage as well. You can also define a color range, so the default colors are already defined for us, and we can select different colors that we want to be reflected with our custom metric. We then decide what the data type is going to be, and if I drop down this list, you can see there's 4 different data types. General is actually going to be retired from the product quite soon. But number is a sum, so as we capture the values, then we count up how many times we've collected that metric. Currency is a currency value, so we can decide which currency symbol we want to use. And percentage is the number of percentages of overall sessions that are connecting through to that particular location. In our case, we'll select it as percentage, and we'll say, okay, let's have 2 decimal places. And then we decide on the type itself, so we can specify it to be a conversion metric or a revenue metric. In this case, it's a straightforward conversion metric. So that's our first custom metric defined. Let's go ahead and create a new custom metric. So I click on the green plus again, scroll down. Okay, so let's enter our new custom metric. So we'll call this one test now revenue, and this is going to be a revenue metric, and we're going to use a URL pattern as before. So if I just paste in our URL, and this time we're going to add an additional XPath to give us a value back from that page. So if we look on the site, where we're actually going to is cloud test on demand, and then we're going to capture this value here, representing a numeric value, a currency value coming back from our page. And there's a very quick and easy way to do this. I'm using Chrome to look at this site, but you can do this in any developer type tools. So I right click on it and select inspect element. And then it shows me in the source of that page where that element actually lives. If I now right click on that, I can copy the XPath of this that is used to identify that particular element. Back in mPulse, then we enter that XPath in there. So I just paste that in. And we can see it's got an attribute ID of product main feature, and it goes all the way through the HTML. Likewise, as before, the color range can be defined. This time again, we'd select it as a currency measurement, and now we're presented with the currency symbol. So we can select whether it's going to be dollar, pound, euros, or Japanese yen, and we then select it as a revenue metric. So now we've created two custom metrics. We've created the first one just using a straightforward URL pattern match. It's a conversion metric. The second one, we're also using a URL pattern match, but we've added the additional XPath in here. We've specified a type of currency, and it's a revenue metric. Let's go ahead and create a third metric now as well. So we click on the plus, scroll down, and now let's enter the details for this one. This metric is also going to be a conversion metric. So I'll just give it a name, test now count. Difference this time is we're going to use a JavaScript variable, and this is a variable I know exists on the page and returns a value for me. It returns a numeric value. So we put it in as ct.purchased, and I'm going to leave this as a number metric, so we'll get a sum of these values. I give it 2 decimal places, and once more it's going to be a conversion metric. And that's it. So we've entered our third custom metric. So let's take a look at all three. The first one, conversion rate. We're using a URL pattern. We're just hitting a URL. The data type is percentage. We've given it 2 decimal places, and it's a conversion. The second custom metric is a test now revenue metric. So again, we're using a URL pattern. This time we're using an XPath to focus in on a specific value on the page. And whilst that value returns a string that contains text and numerical values, mPulse will strip out and just report on the numerical values in there. We're setting it as a currency measurement. We've got 2 decimal places, and it's a revenue metric. The third one is test now count, and this time we're using a JavaScript variable. It's a data type of number. We use 2 decimal places, and this one is going to be a conversion metric. So let's click OK to apply those changes, and this will close the configure web app. And now we'll switch to our dashboards, and then from here we'll open a dashboard and see these metrics. I'm going to open this dashboard, Metric Analysis Custom, which is a custom dashboard. And what we'll see in here, along with lots of other information, we can see in the center of the screen here we have some of our metrics coming through, both standard metrics such as bounce rate and session length and session duration, but also our custom metrics that we've just defined. So we can see test now revenue, we can see it as a currency figure, we can see test now count, and we can see what our conversion rate. Importantly, these are the types of information or types of metrics that you can now tie back to the performance of your site and really understand how the user experience and how the system performance is impacting on the specific metrics that are appropriate to your business. Okay, so that's it for this installment on the mPulse video series focusing in on custom metrics. CloudLink Forum is available as a really good resource to get further information and further details. That's cloudlink.sosta.com. And you can also reach out to us via the corporate website or email at info.sosta and the other methods that we're listing. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.